Merton and I'm an aeromodeller and an engineer. Join me on a fascinating journey where I show you some of the techniques used in scale aeromodelling. So welcome back to the channel, modellers. Both wings are now built to the same stage, as you can see, so they're virtually ready to cover. What I'm working on at the moment is, as you can see there, I've fitted the DB9 connectors into the wing roots. It's a bit untidy, that, a bit scrappy bit of modelling there, but never mind. It won't be seen, but still not very proud of that. I've had a lot of trouble with the wing tubes, really binding. The latest trick, and as you can see by the state of the wing, is to use graphite powder as a lubricant, and that has worked really well. The only trouble is it makes a hell of a mess, so I've got some dry lube coming. Hopefully that'll arrive tomorrow or the next day, and we can try that on the tubes. So what I have to be careful of is that I don't actually fit both wings at the same time, because then I have a hell of a job actually getting the wings apart. If I just do one wing at a time, then I can grab the tube from the other side of the fuselage and twist it and get the wing back off again. So until we solve that problem, we just have to be a bit careful. So the next little problem challenge is that DB9 is fixed and can't move. So what I need to do in the fuselage is fit this DB9, and it can move. It can move around. Fore and aft is about 1/8 of an inch play, 2 or 3 mils, and then up and down there's 5 or more millimeters of play up and down. So what I need to do is I need to drill the holes here and use quite a small screw so that the DB9 can float. But what the problem is I have to decide where that needs to go in the first place. Now what I intend to do is plug the DB9 into the wing like that. That holds its position. There we go. And then I'm going to put a little tiny drop of super glue, the thick super glue, there and there. And then I'm going to put the wing on and hope that the super glue and that plug will bond into this little recess that I've routed out just here. Hopefully it'll bond well enough that it'll separate and the wing will come back off again, and the plug will remain here in its exact position. And if that is how it works, then I'll just drill the holes to align it right then and there, and I'll use some self-tappers to hold the plug loosely in place. I want it to be loose so that when the wing goes on, it sort of snuggles up to it rather than being forced into a position. So that's the plan. The way I did this routing is quite interesting. So here is my multi-tool. It's not a Dremel. I've had Dremels and they've blown up eventually, but I do abuse them. So this is a cheap Rotorcraft, I think it is, RC230. Yeah, Rotorcraft RC230. It's mains driven, which is, you'd think would be inconvenient, but actually it's not. It's not too big a problem at all. And you can get this attachment that goes on the end of the multi-tool. And it's sort of almost not universal, but nearly everybody seems to have adopted the same thread size on the end of their multi-tools. And this router bit is the bit and the slidey ring bit comes for about a tenner, £10, and that's about it. And what you do is you fire up the tool. I won't do it now. And then literally you set the depth to be a fraction lower than the perimeter, you know, the guard. And then you just literally hold it down square. Can't really see that. And then you charge around routing it out. Ends up a bit scruffy around the edges because you're doing it freehand, but it does work, and that's how I've managed to get this nice even depth routing for that plug to go in. Anyway, we'll turn the fuselage on its side. We'll try and fit the wing, put some glue on there, and see if it works. just going to push it on, make sure it will go on. There we go. Now I've just got to do is get it apart again. Tiny drop of super glue on here. Of course, this may not work. Worst case, I could actually end up gluing the wing on. Right, that's on there. I'm actually going to clamp the wing up as well. That'll do. Right, so I'm going to leave that for a good 15 minutes, make sure it's dry, and then we'll try and separate it and hope that the plug stays with the fuselage. It's been 10 minutes, it should be enough. I'm going to now slacken off the wing bolt. Right, I've just pushed on the bolt from the inside to get it to release. Now, with any luck, that connector will be attached to the fuselage. It is not. That's a blow, isn't it? Let's take the wing off. What I can see though are some lines as to where it was. I think there is one there. There's a bit of the line just there. An alternative, of course, is to actually just gently glue this where I think it should be. It's difficult to know, isn't it, what to do? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put, I think, that end is fine. I'm going to put a blob there. Blob there. And I'm just going to kick it with zap, or kick it with kicker. And we'll see if that holds. See if the wing lines up on it for a start. I don't think it will. I think I'm just guessing there. But you never know. I will be amazed, of course, if this actually does line up. Oh goodness, it has. That is quite amazing, isn't it? There we go. Okay, well, we'll take it all apart again. So I'm going to continue with plan A, and I'm going to put small screws on either side, countersunk screws, to allow it to float, because the actual connector that's going on there is this one, there's the DB9 on the end, and there's a lead here that carries the landing light, the navigation light, and a common negative, neutral, or negative. Then the other end are the two servo leads for the flaps and the ailerons. This will go down through that hole, and then this will replace that one, like that. And in a way, I wish I'd used this now, because then I could just fill this up with epoxy, and it would be attached. But there we go. I can actually pop that one out. I mark around the edge of it. Carefully mark round exactly where it should go. Take it off. Substitute the other one in. That would work. Anyway, we'll see how we get on, and I'll report back to you in a minute. That's where it was, and actually the glue has left dimples right where that was. Now the original idea was to make these loose so that it could move around, but as it fitted quite nicely there, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it like that. And also, to make doubly short, I'm going to add a bit. Of zap. With any luck, that should do us. And now we've just got to hope that the other side works out quite as well as that one. Alright, join me later and I'll let you know how it went. So the other side's done. This is the first side, because it's much better than the other side. I know I'm not going to show you the other side because it's not up to my standards, but it works. And I've used a servo tester on it with a wing fitted, and the flaps and the ailerons waggle away quite happily, so I've got the wiring right. So I think that's it for now. Look at the mess that the carbon and the soot has made, but there we go. Anyway, there's a brief look at the side, see, so it is done, but I'm not going to show you a close-up of that because it's a bit ratty. I think I'll have to think of a better way of doing it next time. Anyway, there we go. That's the DB9s attached, and the wings now slide on and slide off, sort of. So I'm waiting for the dry lube to arrive, the PTFE dry lube, which I'm going to use on a tube, because the graphite powder has worked quite well, but as the powder rubs off, then its effect rubs off, and it's getting all over my hands. And somebody on RCSB suggested a PTFE dry lube would solve the problem, so I've ordered some and it should arrive tomorrow. what would we do without Amazon Prime, eh? But anyway, there we go. So as soon as that arrives, I think we're almost at a point where we could either cover the wings, which is quite a nice idea, quite relaxing and could be fun to do, or we tackle the cowl. Now I'm still worried about the cowl. Should I do the cowl as a one-piece glass fibre thing and then cut it into sections so that the sides open? Or should I make the front cowl, you know, the sort of the very nose of it, from a glass fibre moulding, and then make the sides, the top and the bottom, by forming aluminium sheet? This is what Dave Wimsley did on his Chipmunk. Now I've not got an English wheel and I've not got any rolling machines or anything fancy to make the compound curve that makes up the sides of this. So if we do this, it's going to have to be old school, which is where you take several copies of newspaper and you put them down and you make a cushion about an inch thick of newspaper, and then you use your dapping blocks, which I've shown you in a previous video, which are like steel balls on the end of a stick, and you put soap on the dapping block, and then you wheel it, or you rub it all over the center of the panel, and because of the newspaper it gives a little bit, and you can end up putting a compound curve into an aluminium sheet. Perhaps if we go down that route, I'll show you. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please click like and subscribe, and we'll find something else to do on the next one.